Welcome back to the Sports News Analysis YouTube channel, where I'm always breaking down the hot sports topics of the day. My name is Mike. I'm continuing my 7-round NFL mock draft with picks 21 through 30 of the second round. This will conclude the second round. Picks 1 through 20 of the second round are already up, as is round 1. So be sure to check those out. Be sure to subscribe to my channel here, guys. And as I upload videos to my YouTube channel here, they'll be uploaded directly to your feed. Pick number 21 in the second round belongs to the Bengals. The Bengals already have a steady back in Benjarvis Green-Ellis, but I don't think the kind of factor back that they're going to need here in the years to come, if they continue the consistency they've had the last 2 years. I think they can get a guy here in Eddie Lacy from the University of Alabama, who I think is the best running back in this draft, to team with Benjarvis Green-Ellis and provide a pretty potent 1-2 punch. Eddie Lacy's a lot more elusive and fast than people give him credit for. I think he's a little bit better catching the ball out of the backfield than Green-Ellis is. Gives them a little more of a speed component to their backfield. And when it comes down to it, you have two guys who can get in between the tackles and really play smash-mouth football, which when you play in a division with the Ravens and the Steelers, I think is absolutely necessary. The next pick in the second round, the 22nd pick in the second round, belongs to the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins, I had them addressing the cornerback spot earlier in the second round and defensive end with their first pick. I think they go corner again here in the second round because it's such a glaring need on their team. They franchised Starks, the defensive tackle, today, so I don't have them looking in that direction in the second round. I'll go with another cornerback here, and the best cornerback on the board I have right now is Jamar Taylor, the cornerback from Boise State. He's smaller, 5'9", 5'10". He'd be a good nickelback, though, for them. And you might say, well, why would they draft a nickelback, with a second-round pick when you already have them taking a corner? Well, the answer is simple. I look at the cornerback position, the nickel cornerback position specifically in the NFL now, as a starting position. You look at all of these teams. A lot of teams run their base offense, with 3 wide. Most notably, the Patriots in the Dolphins' own division, as well as some other teams around the league who sort of adopted, that slot receiver being a big weapon for them. And, that's why I think a guy like Jamar Taylor can be good in that role. Can he play outside of an island? I'm not too sure. After seeing Kyle Wilson, another small cornerback, speed-burning type cornerback from Boise State, after seeing him have trouble on the outside in the NFL and be a lot better inside, I have my reservations about Jamar Taylor being an outside corner. It's just too hard to tell based on the competition they play out there in Boise State, but I think he could be an excellent nickel cornerback, and look for him to fill that role there for the Dolphins here. The next pick belongs to the Packers. The Packers have a very big need in the interior of their offensive line, I think at both center and guard. And there's one guy in this draft that fills both those needs perfectly, and that's Barrett Jones. I think he'll be drafted as a center from the University of Alabama. Barrett Jones was well chronicled. He played on 3 different Alabama national championship games and started at 3 different positions in each national championship game. And, I think they draft him as a center to replace Jeff Saturday, and he was eventually replaced by Evan Dietrich Smith. I think they move Barrett Jones into that role. If they need him to go to guard at some point in his career or even early on, he can fulfill that role. I think there's very few guys in this draft that are, can give you flexibility at 2 offensive line positions. And Barrett Jones happens to be one of those guys, and he happens to be a heck of a player, too. So give me Barrett Jones to the Packers here with their second-round pick. The next pick belongs to the Seahawks. Again, when you look at a team like the Seahawks and you're trying to dissect their needs are far and few between. But I think they do need to add some depth on that defensive front, most notably at defensive tackle. They get a small school guy here in Brandon Williams from Missouri Southern who falls pretty nicely to them because I think he's exactly the kind of player they need. They need some guys to round out that defensive line. If anything, maybe even give them some depth in that defensive front. And I think he's the guy who can be more than a space eater and, a guy to just add depth. I think he could be a starter for them, a difference maker for them, as they compete with the 49ers here for years to come. It looks like those 2 teams might be 2 of the 5 most talented rosters in the league and are in the same division. So sort of keeping up with the Joneses here. Look for the Seahawks to get another quality defensive lineman, Brandon Williams from Missouri Southern. Next pick belongs to the Texans. I don't see many people see a lot of people saying the Texans need a safety. The Texans need a receiver. I think the Texans need some help in that right tackle spot. I think they're a team that first and foremost wants to run the ball with Arian Foster. They obviously would love to get Matt Schaub some time in that pocket. He's not the most mobile guy in the world. Get him some time to throw. I think they can improve his performance with weapons on the outside, which I had them addressing wide receiver in the first round, and then get a steady guy here at right tackle. This is a deep position in this draft, the offensive tackle position, and I like Kyle Long, the son of Howie, to go to them here towards the end of the second round. He's 6'7", 310 pounds. A very good athlete. If you look at him and you didn't know he was 6'7", he doesn't have that typical gut offensive lineman build, but he's got long arms. He's 6'7", still over 300 pounds, and I think he could do an excellent job for the Texans here at the right tackle spot. The Broncos have the next pick here in the second round. This is pick number 58 overall. The Broncos again are another team I think that need help on the front on their defensive front. They have those wonderful pass rushers in Elvis Dumervil and Von Miller. I think if they can get some space eaters inside, not guys that are going to rush the passer, but guys that are going to more be run stuffers, be disciplined, at least take one guy away from being able to double Dumervil or Von Miller. They didn't have much of a presence on the interior of that line this year. And one of the biggest, besides John Jenkins, my biggest kind of space eater guy in this draft, the guy I'm highest on, is Sylvester Williams, the defensive tackle from North Carolina. He's a guy, again, as with a lot of these defensive tackles, he can at least be put into the rotation right away. Whether he starts, that's going to be based on the different packages they're in and things of that nature. But I think he could be a run stopper from day one and, again, take pressure off those two prized defensive ends that the Broncos definitely feature. Pick number 27 in the first round belongs to the Patriots. Patriots seems like every year, again, like I said in my first round video, the Patriots seem to have a need in the secondary every year. I think they have a safety in Devin McCourty. I think they need a strong safety to go along with him. Patrick Chung, I don't think is worth bringing back via free agency. That's why I think they address this need in the second round here in the draft with Shemarko Thomas, the strong safety from Syracuse. You'll probably remember Thomas if you remember him from the combine. After he ran his 40, he sort of fell flat on his face. But, that aside, he's a quality player. And, I think Belichick is going to be looking for a safety. I think he fits the need perfect. He's the best strong safety available at this point, at least according to my big board. So I like the Patriots to take Shemarko Thomas here in the second round. The next pick belongs to the Atlanta Falcons, the 60th pick overall. With the releasing of Michael Turner, and there's some scuttlebutt or rumors that they're going to be going after Sean Green here in free agency. There's supposedly a couple suitors for Sean Green here, the Broncos and Falcons most notably. If they're unable to land a guy in free agency, I think they go the draft route, and I think they get a nice guy in Joseph Randle, the running back from Oklahoma State here. He ran a little bit slower than people thought at his combine, but he's a guy, when his pro day comes, I think he'll definitely run better. And when you watch the tape, I think he's the second best running back in this class. Some guys have Gio Bernard ranked ahead of him. I like Randle as a better fit for what the Falcons like to do, and I like Randle to be a complement to Jacquizz Rodgers going forward as a staple in that Falcons running game. Pick number 61 belongs to the 49ers. Now, the 49ers, again, are similar to their division counterparts in the Seahawks. They don't have many really glaring needs. I think wide receiver is a position that they can improve at. Randy Moss has said through his Twitter account this week that he doesn't expect to be brought back. So that basically leaves you with Mario Manningham, who's coming back from injury, Michael Crabtree, and also Kendall Wright, who they drafted last year in the first round. I still think they can definitely upgrade that position, maybe with a bigger wide receiver. And, Justin Hunter from Tennessee, I think will be here at the end of the second round. He ran a 4.4 40. He's sort of a long, lean kind of build, sort of like a Randy Moss. I'm not comparing him to Randy Moss. I'm just saying their builds are very similar. Hunter, again, ran a 4.4 40, turned a lot of heads at the combine. and sort of played in the shadow of Cordarrelle Patterson this year and Derrick Rodgers before him. I think Justin Hunter's a nice fit here for the 49ers towards the end of the first round. Pick number 30 overall belongs to the Baltimore Ravens. They're a team, if you look at the Ravens roster, especially from the offensive standpoint, they have Anquan Bolden. I think they bring him back. I think they get a deal done with him. They have Torrey Smith on the outside, sort of more of a speed burner guy. They have Dennis Pitta and Ed Dixon as tight ends. I like that for them to try to address the need of a slot receiver. Jacoby Jones, again, more of an outside guy, a bigger kind of receiver. Get a smallish receiver in there that could sort of be good on those short routes in space. I know Joe Flacco's a guy that likes to throw the ball down the field, but I think to give him another short, intermediate target along with the tight ends, Pitta and Ed Dixon, I think would be good for him. Look for Markus Wheaton, the wide receiver from Oregon State, to be the pick here if they are looking for a smaller wide receiver. That's picks 21 through 30 of the second round. Again, be sure to check out the rest of round 2 and all of round 1 as well. And be sure to subscribe, guys. I upload 4 to 5 sports talk videos per day, and I'll obviously be rifling through this mock draft here the next week. So be sure to check it out. Thanks as always for listening, guys, and have a great night.